Congress people react to the Arrow report. We have that and a lot more to go over in an afternoon UFO news roundup. So get in here. This is Jack with Cosmic Road. I talk about UFOs and the paranormal. Please like and subscribe and let me know what you think in the comments below. Yeah, I'm doing a special afternoon UFO news roundup. I may be doing more of these. There's just so much to cover, guys. I wish there was a CNN or a Fox News of UFO reporting, a 24-hour news reporting service, that could really dive into all of these subjects. And, if it was a slow news day, you could do experiencer accounts or, a historical review of UFO cases. But, it is what it is. We don't have a 24-hour news service. So let's go over a few items that I've got on my desk, including Ross Coulthart talking about congresspeople reacting to the Arrow report.
What I can tell you is there was a moment I was standing in the Senate wing of Congress, just minding my own business, actually checking my phone. And these two very senior politicians came up to me and they said, "Oh, you're the guy that did the Grush interview." And I said, "Yes." And then one of them said, "Oh, yeah, and you do that Need to Know podcast?" And I went, "Yes, that's me, sir." And then I realized who I was talking to. And these were two very senior senators, neither of whom are prominent at all publicly in the commentary on the issue. But what they took their time to say to me was how they know they can smell bullshit when they see it. And they were making the point to me that Congress is not letting this issue go. And I can't say a great deal about what I know is happening, but there is a very strong bipartisan push on the Congress that it's time. That basically they're not buying that nonsense ARROW, All Domain Anomaly Resolution Office, historical review report, which essentially was a whitewash, a disgraceful whitewash, an attempt to put the whole subject matter back in the box.
So there you go. Congress, or at least certain members of Congress, are not buying the Arrow report, and they are continuing to push for answers in a bipartisan way that's very encouraging. A lot of the media, unfortunately, covered the Arrow report favorably, as they were meant to do. The hand-picked journalists that were pushing the story and this narrative from Arrow, which is itself very discouraging. But there is reason to be encouraged because the key members of Congress that are pushing this forward aren't buying it, and they are continuing to push things forward. So great reporting from Ross. Meanwhile, even though there are no such things as UFOs, according to Arrow, the Air Force was so perplexed, Merrick Fiar says, by the drones over Langley Air Force Base that, thanks to NASA, it sent what may be the world's largest, most sophisticated flying camera system up to 20,000 feet to investigate. Very interesting. And of course, referring to the mysterious drones, quote unquote, swarmed over that were swarming over Langley Air Force Base and beyond. It was, a really fascinating series of UFO events. What does it mean? It probably just means the same as every other UFO incursion over military space or government space. Are the beings letting us know that they know what we're doing? Who knows? We don't know what the motivation is behind it, but it's probably a consistent motivation. Are they, is it an alien incursion at all? Could it be, elements within the control group trying to spy on or intimidate other portions of the control group? Possibly, but I lean heavily toward a non-human cause for all of that. But if you disagree, let me know in the comments below. But this is fascinating that the Air Force was trying to do something about it. They almost certainly didn't think it was a human caused, and they were trying to get NASA to help them with the most sophisticated flying camera system known to man, apparently. So really, really interesting. Let's see. There's more about the camera system, dynamite Skiffley's primary in-flight imaging system is dynamite, or day-night airborne motion imagery for terrestrial environments. It is a NASA-owned full motion sensor system that can be mounted on the nose of the WB-57 aircraft. Dynamite uses refractive optics, allowing for a continuous zoom. So there you go. That is what they were using to try to investigate these UFOs. I wonder what they found. Meanwhile, a few days ago was St. Patrick's Day, but did you know that it was also the 74th anniversary of the Farmington, New Mexico UFO Armada event of March 17, 1950? From a witness to the event, all these square-looking formations in the sky, they were made up of dots, and the dots would shift from one formation to another. The first day there were a few, the second day there were too many to count, and the third day there were maybe 30 or 40 of them left. Yeah, and here's pictures of some of those UFOs. Look at that. Look at that. Here's the newspaper article about it. Just really amazing stuff. Amazing stuff. So yeah, a mass UFO sighting in New Mexico in 1950. But there's no UFOs, guys. Meanwhile, why are there human-looking aliens? How does that make any sense? Well, an older video that I found on YouTube might shed some light on that, or at least the person putting it up there thinks they know what's going on. And it may be because we all come from the same place. Very interesting. Very interesting. I'm not sure if I buy that, but let's see what this video has to say. Human beings from Earth are not the only humans in this universe. Many human civilizations coexist. Humankind originates from the Lyra star system. After the Lyran Wars, 600,000 years, many humans died. Okay, it's going way too fast. In the reptilian invasion, Lyran humans scattered around many star systems. Pleiades, Andromeda, etc. evolved in the light and the high vibrations of love, unity, and the respect of the universal laws. Law of free will, for instance, they exist in multi-dimensionality, created the Human Federation and other organizations. They are concerned about us and want us to join the galactic community because Earth, going way too fast, because Earth is not okay and we are not united as a race. They are our true allies, unlike some other ETs. Okay, interesting. This will give you a good idea. All right, yeah, these are some of the beings that are out there. All right, there's some good pictures of some of the beings. Yeah, so good. Could the human-looking aliens in us all have a common point of origin? And there is some war with the reptilians that scattered us, and some of us came here, and some of us went to places where they became more enlightened. Is that possibly a thing? Now, some of the Nordics don't look quite like us, as you just saw. Dick Allgaier referred to the one that he was interacting with as a cat man. Actually, sometimes it looked human, but it could shapeshift and look more cat-like. But yeah, I mean, I've always, wondered, how do human-looking aliens make any sense, right? Do they evolve exactly the same way as we did? Because they're actually different races. You're saying all white guys, but there are actually non-white Nordics reported. So very interesting, very interesting. But yeah, so how did they come to arrive? Or how did we come to arrive looking exactly like these guys, or more or less? Shape-shifting cat people notwithstanding. Does that make any sense? Does that make any sense? But what if we had a common point of origin? That would make more sense. I don't know. I don't know if I quite buy that. I kind of think that they're probably trying to appear human to us to make us feel more comfortable with them. But maybe that's not quite how they really appear. But I don't know. I would love to know the truth behind the human-looking aliens. And I thought the idea that we might have a point of common origin, and we were scattered somewhere, and some of us went to a place where we became more evolved and more enlightened, and others didn't. I thought that was an interesting idea and worth bringing to your attention. Meanwhile, a new paper by Rear Admiral Tim Gallaudet is making the waves. Is making some waves. You'll get that in a minute. Beneath the surface, we may learn more about U.A.P. by looking in the ocean. That's right. Tim Gallaudet is talking about USOs, and he's released this nice, juicy paper talking about this stuff. Executive summary: research and attention regarding U.A.P. are almost entirely focused on their aerial occurrences. Yet instances of U.A.P. at sea, whether under the surface or traveling transmedium between the atmosphere and the ocean, are also known to occur. Perhaps the most widely publicized example was the Tic Tac U.A.P. described by FA-18F Super Hornet pilots as hovering above roiling ocean whitewater during a training exercise in 2004. The whitewater may have indicated a larger U.A.P. below, or that the observed U.A.P. had emerged from the sea, suggesting an unidentified submersible object, USO. More recently, a transmedium U.A.P. was observed by U.S. Navy personnel aboard the USS Omaha, west of San Diego in 2019. And of course, these things come and go from the water all the time. Richard Dolan is writing an entire book about USOs. And like I say, it's a longer article, but it's worth your time reading, although it's pretty dry. This was probably the most interesting part that I've read of it. Let's see. Here's one incident from Nova Scotia in 1960. The author interviewed several Royal Canadian Navy divers who participated in the exercise and claimed to have observed two disc-shaped craft on the seabed. Furthermore, the divers claimed that they not only saw the occupants of the two crafts trying to repair one of them, but also recorded underwater footage of this extravehicular activity. It is only after the recent U.S. military U.A.P. whistleblower testimony that this story seems more credible. Apparently, there's a video with Grant Cameron where they go into more detail talking about this specific encounter. I haven't watched that particular interview, or if I have, I've forgotten it. But from Unidentified Flying Canuck, he says, "Yep, they found the logbooks for that ship and confirmed this. One of the divers explained how they were literally standing on the craft at one point. He claimed the panels were hexagonal and transparent. When they went back for them, they were gone." Very interesting stuff. Just a super great article or paper talking about this stuff. And, it's a lot of it's kind of dry and kind of basic, just general thoughts like rethinking maritime security, the new scientific revolution, a call for action. I mean, that's what this whole paper really is a call for action. Conclusion: the final frontier. Open scientific study of aerial U.A.P. has been progressing for decades. Now that the U.S. Congress and a rising tide of new organizations are aiming to decipher the enigma of these anomalies, America may be better positioned than ever before to understand what exactly is in the sky. Not so in Neptune's realm. No matter how much is learned about U.A.P. in the atmosphere, a complete understanding of anomalous phenomena will remain hidden, absent dedicated research in our largely unknown oceans. Without gazing into the abyss, one will never know if the abyss does indeed return the gaze. Love it, Tim. Absolutely, the beings are in the water. Are they living in the water, or are they coming and going from, bases, on the bottom of the seafloor or something like that? I think it's more likely they're coming and going from bases, but who knows? Maybe they're just living in the water. Maybe they like the water. I know I do. Let me know what you think about that. and let me know if you've had a chance to check out this excellent paper by Tim Gallaudet. Speaking of USOs,
there were 5 naval ships and 2 submarines involved in this kind of a naval training exercise. And ladies and gentlemen, they tracked a USO going like 150 knots at 27,000 feet. Who had the technology in 1963 to pull this off?
Who indeed? Who indeed? Yeah, Michael Schratt's done some great reporting on this. I encourage you to check it out. He's got a much longer video talking about this stuff. But yeah, USOs have been around for a long time, and they are capable of fantastic maneuvers. One interesting aspect of USOs are that our knowledge of them is very scant because they are so classified. I don't know if the USOs themselves are classified or more classified than UFOs, or if it's the sensor, equipment of the submarines and satellites that are getting this information for us that's classified, or both. But either way, it's much harder to get information on USOs than it is on UFOs. The Soul Foundation has also published a paper talking about UFOs, not USOs, but UFOs, U.A.P. in crowded skies, atmospheric and orbital threat reduction in an age of geopolitical uncertainty. And it's a nice, juicy, long paper. The Soul Whitepaper. In an effort to bypass contentious debates over disclosure in the existence of ET life, the Soul Foundation commissioned this report to explore policy reforms that could help the U.S. And other countries. And it goes on into a lot of detail here. We're just still on the introduction, and I have not had time to read this full thing. An urgent yet practical UAP agenda, recommendations for airspace, outer space, and defense policy. Beyond faith and denial, a balanced approach to UAP study. So we're just getting to 1. A methodology for action without belief, utilizing radical empiricism for UAP study and policy formulation. Okay, sounds good. 2, what are unidentified aerial phenomena and which states are studying them? Okay, good to know. Good to know. In Japan, Uruguay, China, Russia, Canada, tells how each individual country is responding to this, I guess. International discoordination, unshared data, the UAP study efforts of nation states. Okay, well, what's the UK up to? Let's do one of them. The United Kingdom has had its own UAP study efforts. In fact, the term UAP originates from one of them. Project Condign, as it is known, was undertaken by the UK's Defence Intelligence Staff between 1997 and 2000, and its report, UAP in the UK Air Defence Region, was made public in 2006 through a FOIA. Although the report was inconclusive, it stated that UAP exists is indisputable. Credited with the ability to hover, land, take off, accelerate to exceptional velocities, and vanish, they can reportedly alter their direction of flight suddenly and clearly, can exhibit aerodynamic characteristics clearly beyond those of any known aircraft or missile, either manned or unmanned. Files from the National Archives confirm that the UK's Ministry of Defence maintained a UFO desk until 2009, but the British government has not reconstituted any public acknowledged UAP analysis effort in recent years. Yeah, but what are they really doing, right? Yeah, that's the public stuff. That's the public stuff. Yeah, and like I say, it'll take you through the various countries, what various countries' public stance is. Of course, again, it's just the public stance. They're not going to tell us what they're doing behind closed doors. I bet a lot of them are doing a lot of stuff. From crowded skies to crowded orbits, international regulation in airspace and outer space, and UAP problem solving. Okay, I mean, it's good stuff. It's good stuff. Kind of dry. From known unknowns to unknown unknowns. The challenge of UAP in the 21st century geopolitics. Okay, I may have to actually give this a read, or at least dive into it a little bit more and get back to you. And but if you've read it, let me know what you think and what sections of this so far pretty awesome paper that I should check out. Meanwhile, did you know that Godzilla was made chief of police for one day? I love Japan. Japan is awesome. Look at this. Godzilla made chief of police. Man, that would solve a lot of problems, guys. I'm just saying. I mean, come on. Nobody's going to give Godzilla any flack, right? All right. Last but not least, a great article by Chris Mellon from Politico. If the government has UFO crash materials, it's time to reveal them. Preach, brother, preach. Since 2017, Chris says, my life has been dominated by efforts to help Congress and the public discover the truth about U.A.P., what many still refer to as UFOs. I've lost count of the number of cities visited, meetings attended, books read, articles written, media appearances, and hours spent on the phone. At the outset, my goal was simply to help our government overcome a glaring intelligence failure. U.A.P. were routinely violating restricted U.S. airspace, but these encounters, documented on cockpit videos, weren't being reported up the military chain of command because of the stigma surrounding this issue. And he goes on, it's a really good article. Democracy requires transparency. We own any discovery. Any recovered materials belong to the American people. Any secretive government programs that may have existed were funded by American tax dollars, and as such, any proceeds belong to the taxpayer. Amen. Amen, man. We can handle it. Absolutely. I mean, it's ridiculous. The narrative from the control group or the powers that be are that the people can't handle it, that the society would collapse if they told us the truth. But they haven't run amok, right? The members of the control group aren't going around going crazy. They seem like they've got it together. So why can't we know? Why are they able to handle it and we're not able to handle it? That's BS. That's gatekeeping BS. So you go, Chris. We don't control UAP. Absolutely, we don't control UAP. That is very true. Although we do have our own UAP. Disclosure is only a matter of time. Congress is proceeding. Secrecy stifles silence. Time to reduce the international tensions. No imminent threat. It seems unlikely that revealing the truth would change the pattern of UAP behavior we have been observing for many decades. Furtive activities around the planet and in our oceans are likely to continue. In the unlikely event there is a threat, our chances of survival are obviously far greater if we acknowledge the possibility and work with other nations to develop an effective deterrent. Although we are not experiencing acts of aggression, there is a pattern of persistent surveillance around DoD test ranges and facilities, especially our nuclear weapon capabilities. Hopefully, any interest in our military capabilities is purely defensive. So, we were just talking about Langley, right? And the countless other examples similar to that. What are the beings doing? What are they up to? Spark vitally needed. We need to get this out there to spark collaboration. Absolutely. This stuff is so compartmentalized. Bob Lazar and others have talked about how, at Area 51 and other places, the research done on this technology is so compartmentalized. They actually prize secrecy over progress. So, how can we get much progress doing that? Although, obviously, there are layers and layers to this stuff. That's more of a middle layer, but at the deeper level, they've got their own UFOs. So they've made some progress. Somebody's made some progress. Anyway, I'll let you read the full article on Politico, but yeah, a great article from Chris Mellon. Love it. We can handle the truth, guys. And also, this technology could revolutionize the world. free energy technology that could get us across the world in, minutes, if not seconds. You just imagine how transformative that would be. Med bed technology, all the fabulous health benefits that we could get from this if they were to release this technology. What gives them the right to hoard this technology and not release it? Maybe that's, something coming from the beings, right? If we are working with the beings, and it seems like we are, at least at some level, maybe that is, something that the beings are restricting, that they are not allowing this technology to get out beyond the confines of the control group. But we don't really know that. That's just supposition at this point. Until the beings address the American people and the people of the world, that's just kind of guesswork at this point. So right now we need to push for full transparency and full disclosure and the unveiling of this technology. So this transformative, world-changing technology that is sitting under the fingertips of the UFO control group. But let me know what you think about that and everything else covered today in the comments below. And if you've enjoyed this video, please give me a big thumbs up. I sure appreciate it. Smash the subscribe button and the bell to be notified of future videos. You don't want to miss a thing. Join me on social media, Facebook and Twitter, links below. Love to see you guys there. Oh, and Discord too. If you wanted to support Cosmic Road in a bigger way, please consider grabbing a coffee mug or a t-shirt in the merch store, or by becoming a channel member, because channel members are rock stars, and I really appreciate you guys' support. Thank you so much. Meanwhile, there are plenty of other videos on the channel. I'll see you guys next time. This is Jack with Cosmic Road, signing out.